Hello, hello, my lovely Scorpios. Welcome back to the channel today. We are going to be doing your weekly readings for March 11th through March 24th. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to be pulling your cards for those 2 weeks. And let's see. Wow. Okay. So far, Scorpio, you have a ton of major arcana cards. I think that actually happened for you last week as well. You had a bunch of major arcana cards. So Scorpio, you are really going through it. Really going through some very important or major themes within your life. Major changes are happening, movement. A lot of this feels like it's very internal changes, things within yourself that are changing. Although I do see here that there are changes within your outer life circumstances as well. I'm going to count your major arcana cards real quick. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 8 major arcana cards, which is more than half of your cards for this reading. So Scorpio, major energy, major arcana stuff going on. Let's go ahead and get started here because your first card for your reading here, Scorpio, is the Two of Cups in reverse. This card can signal some discord, some disagreements within your relationship. This can signal a little bit of strife of not seeing eye to eye with a partner or an important person within your life. I feel like for most of you, this is probably related to a romantic partner. Although, if you are single, if you are someone who is a Scorpio not in a relationship, this can also be about you and your relationship with yourself, your ability to see yourself as a whole being, your ability to understand your motivations and your actions. This can be your actions or your beliefs about yourself not aligning with your actions, or not recognizing yourself for who you are. So you may feel as though who you are on the inside can feel very different to the you that is on the outside. Feeling very distant or disconnected from your expression of your true self here, Scorpio. Now, Scorpio, we move on to the Tower card in reverse for your Tuesday, the 12th. Now, the Tower in reverse. This, to me, feels like something that happened very recently for you. There was a very recent big shift or change within your life that has caused you to reevaluate or rethink everything that you thought that you knew. With this being in the reverse, this can often mean that there is some resistance on your end to accepting this new change. It's very possible that this change or this thing that happened has shaken you in some way, and it, instead of wanting to meet this thing head on, it has you wanting to run for the hills and run away and, avoid whatever this change is trying to encourage you to do. Since this card does come after that Two of Cups in reverse, a lot of you, I feel, could be going through some sort of breakup or some sort of separation very recently that has caused you to reevaluate or rethink the relationship entirely, if you are on a long break with your partner. But I feel like for most of you, this Tower in reverse is something else that has happened. I feel like a part of you has changed recently, Scorpio, and that you are trying to figure out from the bottom up who you are again. Because the Tower is the event that shakes everything down. The Tower comes crumbling down to its foundations. And we're left to sift through the rubble, to, look at the foundation and figure out, what caused this to happen. Is it because we were building on ideas or things that no longer align with who we are? Have we put ourselves into situations or opportunities that at one point maybe were good for us, but now aren't, and we need to reevaluate? Whatever the case may be here, Scorpio, this is definitely reevaluation. This is definitely big moment changes for you where everything feels completely different. You may feel like you are on the opposite side or in some sort of mirror reality. Nothing feels very real to you and everything feels very different, and you're trying to figure out again, where do you fit in to this world? Where do you fit in the big picture here? Your very next card here, Scorpio, is the Judgment card in reverse. And again, another major arcana card. This is for Wednesday, the 13th. Judgment in reverse. So when people hear judgment, the card judgment, they think of like judgment of the self or judgment of others. And that can be the case for some people. That can be you suspending your judgment of others or yourself in some way. This can also be sometimes, in the opposite, since this is in the reverse. It's not you suspending judgment, but you enacting judgment or thinking judgmentally about yourself or other people. However, judgment is actually more related to the idea of Judgment Day, like from the Book of Revelations, right? Because a lot of these cards do have ties with religion and ties with old religion or, spirituality, whatever the case may be. So in this case, judgment is actually meant to represent the Judgment Day, when the dead come back to life, when people are called into a new life and to a new world that is very, very different from the world that they have been in. So when you look at this card, other than just talking about Judgment Day, other than just talking about judgment of the self or others, when you look at this card here, you can see that there's actually two mirrors. And I'm going to flip this upright so that you can see it a little bit better, hopefully. But there are two mirrors on this card. And it means that what you think about, what you have within your reality is reflected out into the world, is reflected out from you. It's projected, right? So when you think of life or you think of the world having to be a certain way or expecting certain things to happen specific ways, expecting certain reactions from people, that feeling or those thoughts will become your outer reality. It will become your outer reality because you have been projecting this idea out into the world around you. So if you're expecting people to treat you poorly and you treat them poorly as a result, they will treat you poorly back because you have, projected whatever this, just rolling with that idea. Judgment is kind of this idea about waking up to a new way to do things, a new reality. So with this being in the reverse, some of you could very well be resisting this awakening, resisting this idea. A lot of you, it's very easy to stay comfortable and stay stuck where we are comfortable. It's very hard to make change because it requires us to do stuff that we've never done before. And especially if it was something that we were very attached to the outcome. If we were very attached to, especially with this being like a relationship, right? If you were very attached to the outcome of this relationship, the idea that maybe someday you would get married or start a family together, to now only have that not be happening, it can be very hard to even begin to start thinking about what a life or reality would look like without this person in it. Then we move on to your next card here on Thursday, which is the Five of Cups in reverse. And this card is all about perspective. So again, how we were saying with the Judgment card, what you think about, how you feel will be reflected and projected out into the universe. The Five of Cups in reverse says to be careful about the way that you are thinking. This is about your perspective. This is about optimism. When I turn the card this direction, you see that there is a sun and that there is these three cups in the upright position, which is meant to represent looking on the positive side, a glass half full mentality. Thinking about all the resources and things that you still have available to you, even though you still have two cups overturned, even though you have had some losses. It's you choosing to see the brighter side of things. And then on the flip side of this card here, when we turn it the other direction, you see that there's this darkness, and all of our positive cups, all three of those positive cups are now pouring outward, and we only have these two upright cups that we said had spilled. And this is about looking on the negative side, looking on the pessimistic side of things. And with this card being in the reverse, you can find that your thoughts at this time, Scorpio, are leaning towards more pessimism. Leaning towards more, thinking about the way things went wrong, thinking about the way things didn't turn out for you, the pain of the situation, right? So I would encourage you to evaluate your perspective, evaluate the way that you are approaching or thinking about things at this time, because your attitude and your thoughts towards this event are going to directly influence your outer world and your outer experience. So just keep that in mind. You know, the thoughts that we have do have power, even if we don't quite realize their full power all the time. Scorpio, then we move on to the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, your entire first week here, Scorpio, is in the reverse. Every single card for week 1 here, Scorpio, is in the reverse. Again, you know, with them all being in the reverse, things feel very off kilter. Things feel very upside down, confusing. You feel as though you don't quite have a solid foundation or a solid grasp on things happening right now. The 10 of Pentacles in reverse. So, you know, a lot of you, I feel like this relationship or this thing that you are moving away from is something that you thought would give you everything, right? So, you know, we said that the 2 of Cups could be a relationship, like a partnership. I feel like for a lot of you, this could very well be a partnership. But we also said it's about seeing yourself for who you are. It's about recognizing yourself, right? And so the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, a lot of you are feeling as though you have lost everything, that you have built up so much of this wealth or abundance or, you know, this very positive feeling over time. You thought that you had built it up and that everything was maybe going really good and perfect, only for everything to start crumbling down around you and for you to be kind of looking around like, well, what the heck is going on? I have nothing now. The 10 of Pentacles in reverse is literally that feeling of having had it all and losing it, you know, like winning the lottery and going broke the next week, right? So the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, you're definitely at this time, Scorpio, focused more on the things that you are lacking, focusing more on the things that you have lost. And that can be very difficult. That's very challenging. Let's talk about these next 2 cards here. You have the King of Cups in reverse as well after that 10 of Pentacles in reverse. This is for your Saturday here, the King of Cups in reverse. Now, Scorpio, you are a water sign, and the cups are related to water sign energy. So the King of Cups in reverse could very well be you, Scorpio. It could very well be your energy being represented with this King of Cups. I feel as though this is you struggling to deal with your emotions. The King of Cups, this is a person who stands within the ocean and is not moved by the waves. Like, you can see this person is literally standing within these big waves. Or let's turn it over so you can see it. This person is standing within these big waves, and, you know, the bottom half kind of looks like a mermaid, almost. I know there's no mermaid tail, but I always think of this person as a mermaid, right? Someone who lives in the water, who is embodied by the water, right? And the King of Cups, this is a person who normally is very solid. This is the person who can stand within the waves of their emotions, stand in the depths of their emotional ocean, and to not be pushed over by the waves, to not be allowed to be swayed or pushed around by the ebb and flow of their emotions. With this being in the reverse, this is someone who is struggling to do those things. This is someone who finds themselves tossed around by the waves of their emotions. Someone who needs to get their feet firmly planted back on the ground so that they can start to see their foundations again, start to allow things to move. If we get too caught up in our feelings, if we get too caught up in the waves of our emotions, we can end up making decisions that don't reflect the best version of ourselves. We can end up making decisions based on our emotional reactions or making decisions based off of how we're feeling in the moment, and it may not necessarily represent what we want in the long run. So I would encourage you to try to do something that can help you feel more contained. And I don't mean like shoving all your emotions in a box, Scorpio. I mean like actually making time and space for yourself to feel these emotions in a healthy way. You know, going to a private place where you can just cry it out a little bit. Going to somewhere that helps you feel happy and connected again so that you feel more stable trying to approach or deal with these complicated feelings. Whatever the case may be, Scorpio, it's going to be very important for you to try to find time to start processing these things. Because the more that you try to control it, you can't control the ocean. The ocean is a big entity. You respect the ocean, right? You learn to work with the ocean instead of working against it. Because the ocean is big enough that it will always win if you let it. If you don't make the time to work with it and accommodate it and figure out how to best honor it in its entirety, it is something that will drag you down to the depths, right? Let's move on. Your last card for week 1 on Sunday, the 17th here, Scorpio, is the 3 of Cups in reverse. So we actually started your reading off with the 2 of Cups in reverse, and now we have the 3 of Cups in reverse. So I feel like for a very small amount of you, you are finding out that this relationship that has ended may have ended because of a unfaithfulness on a particular on one person's part. The 3 of Cups in reverse can signal, unfaithfulness, can signal that there was a third party or a third interest within your relationship. Now, obviously, that message is not going to be for everybody. It's going to be for, some of you who have recently gone through this, breakup. In the case of single people or people where unfaithfulness was not involved in your relationship, this card also says that you do not want to be around people. You are not wanting to be around friends. You may find that you are even emotionally sabotaging your friendships. The 3 of Cups is usually about finding joy in your community, finding camaraderie with people who understand you. The people who see you for who you are, who want to see the best things in you. And this card being in the reverse means that, you could be avoiding these things because it makes you uncomfortable to be around other happy people right now. Some of you, this could be being invited out with some friends, but being hesitant or unable to accept their invitation because you would rather be alone in your thoughts, or you would rather be separate from, the happiness of other people. I kind of get this feeling of like envy, like seeing all these other people be happy, seeing all these other people around you live positive lives makes you envious, makes you upset because you're like, why are these people happy? What is the answer that these people have that I'm missing, where I'm not happy, where I don't have the answer to why I'm feeling this way or why I'm hurting this way. Now, Scorpio, I know that week 1 sounded very negative. I know that week 1 sounds like, negative Nelly, dealing with a lot of very heavy themes. Week 2, looking at week 2 overall right here though, Scorpio, it does feel like there is a very positive change for you, a very positive new mindset coming in for you on week 2. So I know week 1 was a little rough. Don't lose hope. Don't give up. Week 2 looks so much better for you. So let's go ahead and get started with week 2 so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about when I say things will get better, okay? We're going to start off week 2 with your first card on Monday, the 18th here. You have the Star card in reverse. The Star is actually the card that comes in the major arcana right after this Tower moment. Once the Tower has crumbled down, once everything has gone down around us, the Star card is our light in the darkness, right? When we are at our lowest point, when we have been broken down to our very foundations, the Star card is the light that guides us back to who we are. It's the light that guides us to the new future that we want. It's us picking up the pieces after the Tower moment. So this card can carry themes of healing. It carries themes of, as we said, finding hope and light within the darkness. With this card being in the reverse, Scorpio, you can find it very challenging at this time to find that hope or find that light. You may find that you are struggling very much with your feelings of, hope for the future. Hope about, if this relationship went wrong, how am I ever going to have a positive relationship again? In the case of you specifically, Scorpio, if you're dealing with yourself and not necessarily a relationship, this is you struggling to figure out, who am I? Who am I in the depths of myself, in my soul? The star is that it's that guiding light within the darkness, and we all carry an aspect of light within us. We all are light beings. And the star card is that light in the darkness. It's literally the guiding force that tells you and brings you back to who you are. So if you feel very stuck in the darkness right now, Scorpio, if you feel very lost or confused, if you feel very hurt and like things are just not turning out for you, I would encourage you to get back to your roots. You know, with that Two of Cups, we talked about not recognizing yourself for who you are. And the Star card is encouraging you to find it again, encouraging you to go and look deep and search within to try and find this light again, to try and reconnect with your heart and your soul so that you can start to move forward and start to, you know, actually embody who you are or who you want to be. Your next card on Tuesday here, Scorpio, is the Emperor in reverse. This signals surrender to me. This is showing me, Scorpio, that at this point, while you are dealing with all of these heavy themes, while you are dealing with all these things, you reach a point where you say, enough is enough. I am going to, instead of trying to control everything and make everything turn out exactly the way I want it, I am going to release control. I'm going to release control from myself. I'm going to release control to the universe and allow myself to be guided. I'm going to allow myself to, you know, take the back seat for a little bit so that I can just kind of relax and take my mind off trying to force things to happen when I'm not ready. And by doing that, by releasing control, by allowing things to flow, we move on to the Temperance card here. This is also about finding balance. So releasing control and finding balance. Temperance is your discernment, your dedication, but in a healthy way, right? So if you have been putting in a lot of your thoughts towards the way things went wrong, Scorpio, if you have been putting in a lot of your energy towards hurting or feeling bad about the way things turned out, Temperance is your change. It is the change to this feeling. So allowing things to be as they are and, you know, reallocating your energy back to some more productive ideas and more productive things. So the Emperor in reverse, releasing your control, releasing your, what I'm seeing within my mind, what I'm seeing right now, Scorpio, is almost like you had such a tight grip on the way you wanted this thing to turn out. You had such a tight hold on the expectation about this. And once you release control, you allow yourself to start to pivot in a different direction. You're releasing control, opening your hands, opening yourself up to the universe to receive again. And you're trusting that doing that is going to bring you greater happiness. And it does, because the rest of your week here, Scorpio, is very positive. We have your very next card after Temperance. You have the Five of Swords in reverse, which is moving away from conflict. It's choosing not to engage in a fight. So for some of you, as we said, you know, if this is a relationship that did involve unfaithfulness for some reason, then the Five of Swords is you choosing not to engage in that. Even though it was something that was very hurtful to you or something that, you know, hurt you deep inside, this is you saying, hey, even though it hurt me, I am not going to engage in a toxic conflict. I'm not going to start a fight about this. Instead, I'm going to disengage from this argument, disengage from this toxicity. I'm going to instead focus on myself and my own energy, and I'm going to just leave you to your devices. If you want to continue, not you, Scorpio, but you, this other person, right? If this other person wants to continue to make toxic choices, continues to, you know, want to cause drama or, you know, whatever the case may be, hurting other people around them, you, Scorpio, are saying, okay, if you want to do that, if the other person, you, wants to go and do that, that's fine, but I will not be involved in it. I will not get caught up in this drama and toxicity. So, Scorpio, moving yourself away, releasing, letting go, allowing things to go as they may. And eventually, on Friday here, Scorpio, you move on to the Lovers card. And this is a very positive change for you. This card and the Two of Cups are very similar to each other, right? They both deal with partnership. They both deal with seeing eye to eye with a person so that you recognize who they are. And it often does involve, romantic relationships, lovers, partners. This is, so for some of you, this could very well be an actual person, an actual new relationship coming in for you. For someone that actually sees you for who you are and the value you bring. So even if there was unfaithfulness from this other person, there is a new person for some of you coming in that is going to actually value you for who you are. For others, this is just about recognizing yourself, recognizing your worth, saying that, the thing that this person or the thing that happened in your life is not a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of the other people around you. It's a reflection of the other people. And it's also connecting with the love in the universe, the love that is always available to you from, God or source or whatever it is that you believe. Connecting with love, connecting with abundance and trust with the universe. It's allowing yourself to be seen for who you are. So if you've been struggling with some insecurity or shame, this is you allowing yourself to be seen for who you are and actually being met positively back with it, with other people recognizing who you are and saying, hey, I get it. I've been there. And you are a good person, and I still love you no matter what you have done, no matter what this, I have been there too, and I recognize that, you did this because of this pain, and I hold forgiveness and grace for you. So the Lovers card, it's a positive movement towards love. It's a positive movement towards connection with not just a partner, although for some of you it is a partner, but also towards yourself and towards, maybe other people within your life that love you as well. Scorpio, on Saturday, you move on to the Empress, and this is connecting with your abundance, connecting with your ability to create, your confidence. If you look at this card here, you can see that this person has, a very relaxed posture on their throne. They have all this fruit, which is meant to represent their ability to plant and create and grow and to receive a harvest from the things that they plant. Scorpio, I feel like this is you connecting with your confidence. So this person or this individual or even this feeling of love comes in for you, and it reminds you of how important you are. It reminds you of how valuable you are, what you bring to the table, and your ability to create things, your tenacious spirit, and your ability to, go out into the universe and make things and build things. Because you may be sad and upset that things did not turn out the way that you expected them to. But the Empress says that it doesn't matter if it didn't turn out that way because you still have all the tools, you still have all the means available to go out and create something amazing for yourself. And at the end of the day, you will have pride in what you create and make because it came from you, Scorpio. It came from your mind, it came from your spirit and your willpower, it came from your action to see this thing brought to life. And so I would encourage you not to lose hope, not to, get too caught up in these negative feelings and instead to focus on what you do bring to the table and how important and special and magical you are. Your very last card here on Sunday, Scorpio, is the Wheel of Fortune, which signals positive new changes for you. This is saying, Scorpio, things may have seemed very dark, things may have felt very uncomfortable for a long time for you, and the Wheel of Fortune is a change in your stars. This is a change in a positive new direction for you. So even though things didn't work out, you are feeling very optimistic and you're starting to feel as though things may be moving in a positive direction for you, reigniting with your hope and your ability to, see your future brought to life. So anyway, Scorpio, that is where I am going to leave you for here. Thank you so much for being here for the reading today. If this was helpful, please feel free to give me a like. Go ahead and comment. I love to hear your feedback on the videos. Once again, thank you so much for being here today, Scorpio, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week.